Hey guys, Crispy Bacon back with a quick video on how I farm Laurels on Hunter in the Guardian games. We have a setup for all 4 subclasses, very simple, that just uses one exotic armor piece along with a certain tree of that subclass, all very much focused around ability usage. Along with my ability setup and exotic setup, for weapons I like to go with the Traveler's Chosen exotic sidearm. Its exotic perk gives us a great way to recharge all of our abilities just by simply getting kills with the Traveler's Chosen and doing this special reload. I combine this with the Deafening Whisper grenade launcher with Wellspring because Wellspring allows us to recharge all of our abilities simultaneously. So to begin, we'll start with the Arc subclass. For Arc, we're going to be combining the Assassin's Cowl exotic helmet along with top tree Arc Strider known as Way of the Warrior. This subclass gives us some of the best ability recharge in the game, and that's by combining Combat Flow, Deadly Reach, and Combination Blow. With this combination of perks, every time we get a melee kill, our dodge is being recharged, and if we're using the Gambler's Dodge ability, every time we dodge, we reset our melee ability. In addition, the Deadly Reach perk gives us enhanced melee lunge range, and Combination Blow gives us additional health regeneration and melee damage every time we get a kill. Solid combo in its own right, but when we combine this with Assassin's Cowl, every one of these melee abilities actually gives us invisibility. Combining this subclass and this helmet gives us extremely high melee damage, range, and invisibility and health per kill, and with the ability to constantly spam this melee, we're getting tons of Laurels and killing a lot of enemies while doing it. Moving over to Solar, we're going to be swapping out our Assassin's Cowl for the Ophidia Spaith exotic chest armor and switching our subclass over to Middle Tree Gunslinger known as Way of 1,000 Cuts. This is a very simple but effective setup focusing completely around the throwing knife ability on Middle Tree. This melee ability throws 3 knives simultaneously that also burn the target on hit. While the target is burning, you also recharge your dodge ability faster, making it so that you can use Gambler's Dodge very often to throw more knives. What's great about combining this with Ophidia Spaith is that we are granted a second knife charge, meaning we will almost always have knives to throw. Simple and spammable, just throw those knives as much as possible and use your super on large groups of enemies and you are making a lot of Laurels. Moving over to Void, we're going to be taking off our Ophidia Spaith and swapping that over to Omni Oculus. And then for the subclass, we're going to be using Bottom Tree Night Stalker, known as Way of the Pathfinder. The key perk that we're looking for in Way of the Pathfinder is Combat Provision. Damaging enemies with grenades grants melee ability energy, making allies invisible grants grenade energy. This perk is the cornerstone of the ability energy recharge on this bottom tree, and Gambler's Dodge will further help us recharge our melee ability. When combined with Omni Oculus, we have a second smoke bomb charge, and we get further melee energy whenever we make our allies invisible. The key playstyle with this build is to be making Laurels with grenades as much as possible, and making ourselves and our allies invisible as much as possible to help us recharge that grenade energy. Lastly, moving over to Stasis, we're going to be taking off our Omni Oculus in place of Frosties, and switching our subclass over to the Revenant. On this subclass, we'll want the Gambler's Dodge, Glacier Grenade. For aspects, we'll want Shatter Dive and Grim Harvest, and for fragments, we'll want Whisper of Fractures, Whisper of Shards, and Whisper of Refraction. The main playstyle of this setup is going to be throwing Glacier Grenades within a large group of enemies, using Shatter Dive to quickly destroy that Glacier Grenade, and then intermixing Withering Blade and Gambler's Dodge to use our melee as much as possible. Now, when we're destroying these Glacier Grenades with Shatter Dive, we're actually getting a ton of different bonuses. If we're defeating slowed or frozen combatants, we actually create Stasis Shards, which when picked up give us more melee energy. We're getting class ability energy whenever we defeat a slowed or frozen target, and we're also getting grenade recharge whenever we destroy those Stasis crystals. So again, just be throwing Glacier Grenades as much as possible, using Shatter Dive, and then using Withering Blade along with Gambler's Dodge when you can to throw a ton of melee abilities. This subclass has a lot of built-in ability regen and synergies, but then when we combine them with Frosties, whenever we sprint, we're actually gaining grenade, melee, and dodge ability energy. Frosties really are just the icing on the cake for this build, and helps top off all of our abilities so that we can always be spamming. Ladies and gentlemen, that will about do it for these setups. Remember to be mixing in Traveler's Chosen and Deafening Whisper with Wellspring to help top off all of your abilities. Hunter is very much a melee ability focused character, so always keep that in mind when you're making setups to farm abilities. This series has been a lot of fun, and if you haven't, make sure you check out the Titan and Warlock edition. The Guardian Games has been a bit of a divisive event in the Destiny community. I hope you guys are having fun, and if you're not, I'd really like to hear about it. Make sure you join up on the Discord to tell us all about your thoughts and feelings on the current state of the game. If you liked what you saw, check the description to see where else you can find me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.
We thank you, Guardian, and we will never forget.